Welcome back to WagerTalk TV. We're going to head to the NBA for this one. Ralph Michaels joins me and Brian Leonard. Of course, I'm Marco D'Angelo. You've got the Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets have been a surprise this year. We all thought that they were going to be better this year, but I didn't think they were going to be as good as they've played thus far. And then you've got the Philadelphia 76ers that just keep stockpiling talent. They were involved in a trade today. We're taping on Wednesday. Trade deadline's Thursday, so there's going to be a lot more people moving around in the next 24 hours. But, Brian, you look at the Sixers, and this is a team, top to bottom, might have, next to Golden State, they might have the next best roster as far as pure talent goes. When they all show up and they play together, this is one of the better teams in the NBA. The problem is this team has been up and down all year, and that's a sign of immaturity, and there are a lot of young superstars on this team.
Yeah, there are, and this is a team that I like coming into the season. I thought they had everything I had read said that this was the next up-and-coming team. The problem is once you get to the playoffs, the advantage they have in the altitude, same with Utah, is they don't have it anymore because they have days off between the games. So that's really something that bothers me about the whole playoff format. They play it totally differently than they do the regular season.
Especially the first round. The way they stretch the games out in the first round of the NBA playoffs is ridiculous. Yeah. They get everybody to play that first Saturday and Sunday, and then the guys that all played on Saturday don't always all come back and play on Monday. They break it up for TV, and you're having 2 and 3 days sometimes before teams get that second game in. And I think it's stupid. I agree with you, Brian. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but that's a pet peeve of mine, too.
It is. And the Philadelphia lost to Denver by 16 just 2 weeks ago, so you'd think it would be a nice comeback for them here. But this is a 4th straight road game for Denver. And that's a concern. But you've got a Philadelphia team who just brought in more players. And anytime you're bringing in new players, and how many times has Philadelphia done this year? They continue to sign all these guys, just not bench players, but starters, changing their whole attitude on how they're going to play. It takes a while to get these guys going. You don't know really what you're going to get out of Philadelphia. This is a game that, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to sit out.
Ralph, depending what Denver, if Les Denver makes a trade, and changes their roster, I think the advantage, based on, what Brian pointed out there, I believe that 100%, you're going to get line value with Denver just because of it's perceived that Philadelphia is better because of the trade. Well, they are, but they're not going to be better immediately. They're going to actually take a step backwards until all of those players mesh together. I think Denver, if they don't make a trade, I think they're a live play in this game.
Well, part of the reason Brian talked about, Denver being so good and at home with the altitude, well, they're 23-4 at home, best home record in basketball, and they're 14-12 on the road. On the road, they're 5-7 straight up in ATS as an away dog, but 1-4 their last 5 games. Early in the year, it was much easier to play on the road. If they're off another win at Brooklyn Wednesday, they play at Brooklyn Wednesday. Philadelphia is off until that time. Philadelphia hasn't played a game, so while they are getting Harris, they are going to have a couple days of practice. They are off a home loss to Toronto. I think it keeps them focused. And Philadelphia, as a home favorite of 5 or more, 12-6 ATS the last 8. I'm making this number. I'm making the number Philadelphia 6.5, and I'm going to let the lines makers decide, if I'm going to play Philly or not. Because if they do give Philly too much love for getting the Clippers' previous leading scorer Harris without having played a game, then I don't have any problems fading him. If they're going to have the wait-and-see attitude to see what he brings to the table, I don't mind fading Denver in this 4th road game of this road trip.
I made the number prior to the trade. I have Philly at -5.5 for this game is where I put it at. So, again, we're going to see where the value's at. As you pointed out, that game against Toronto, that was their first game back from a long road trip. You know that scenario, how I feel about that, and having the extra days. Now, if they hadn't made this trade, I probably would have been looking at Philly in this game because of the situation, second game. But because of the trade, that changes it for me, and it would put me looking at Denver in this play.
And one note as well. I mean, Brian, us being Cavs fans and seeing all these new players come in with Cleveland, we know this very well. a new player doesn't hurt the offense. It usually hurts the defense. These NBA guys don't run a lot of plays early in the games. You know, if they're off timeouts or if they're in close games, they run playoff sets. But a lot of their plays are just anyone can learn their plays quick. It's the cohesiveness on defense that you have a problem learning. And Philadelphia, you know, at times could play some decent defense. So how Harris fits into that mold. So perhaps look at the over for the next few games as well with that trade.
Yeah, everybody has the same plays. You just call it something different.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff, guys. We'll be back with more here at Wager Talk. Don't forget, though, guys, every Monday at Wager Talk, it's $9 Monday. You can get any play on the site for $9 on Monday. That includes the 5% plays. Those plays normally sell for $30, but on Monday, check it out, just $9 at WagerTalk.com. We'll be right back with more.